Let's actually read this Reddit posts. We will. I won't go on as long as I usually do. Kind of like yesterday, how I ended a bit early yesterday. Yeah, we'll probably only go for another hour. Instead of an hour 30. Unless I decide to tap out before then. If I do, we just won't post the VOD for this portion. But we'll find out. We'll see how it goes. Because honestly, I could lay on my couch for the next 2 days and not move, with the exception of getting up to pee. And maybe eat. Because... But no, I have to go to work tomorrow. It's disgusting. Oh, God, I'm really not looking forward to this work week. I'm really, really not. I'm really, really not. I'm really, really not. This is going to be such a long work week. 46 hours of work in 4 days. Oh my God. And my foot's still not better yet. Also, so I need to go out and look at the car tonight. I meant to last night, but I was like, I don't want to. I didn't want to bother, so I need to go out and look at it tonight. I still might not. I might just wait till next week. But because it's not the brake lights per se, I noticed, or is it? No. Because there's like multiple lights on the tail end of the vehicle. There's like the brake lights, but then there's also the tail lights. One of them stays on, one of them doesn't. So, we'll see. We will see what I decide to do. Alrighty. So the title of this post is, Am I the asshole for refusing to forgive a debt that will cost my sister a house? You don't want to keep draining the battery. I've had this battery for over a year already anyways. My battery already drains faster than normal anyways, I've noticed. I've had to replace it a couple times since I got this car, so... Yeah, I know it's not that long. Getting to work is crucial. Yeah, I can still get to work fine. I just have to jump the car first. I probably won't. I'll probably try not to go out tonight, like to get food, unless I actually go out to like fix the car. Just so I don't have to jump it more times than necessary, you know. It just sounds like a lot of work trying to get in there and take care of it, but I also don't want to have to take it to a mechanic's, because that would be annoying as well. All right. My mother died about 2 months ago. She didn't leave behind much other than a paid-for house worth about $180K and a little money in the bank. Mom announced a couple of years ago that she intended to leave her house to my sister Sarah, who takes care of her severely disabled son full-time. Mom said that she wanted to make sure they had a roof over their heads and the rest of her kids could make it on their own. That's fair. Sarah does struggle a lot and has said many times that she wouldn't have been able to make it without Mom. When Mom died, she had some bills outstanding, but her biggest debt was that she owed me $37,000. I had loaned her money so that she could fix her plumbing and septic system, as well as making the house more handicap-friendly for Sarah and Jeremy. Mom has been paying me back every month. I have paperwork proving the money is owed. Here's the problem. If I file a claim against her estate like any other creditor would, my brother John, Mom's executor, will have no choice but to pay it. But to do so, he will have to sell the house since there isn't money in the estate to pay it any other way, which means that Sarah and Jeremy will have to find a different place to live. I know my mom wanted Sarah to have the house. There was also the issue that Mom's will said Sarah got the house, but any money in the estate would be split evenly between the other 4 of us. So technically we think that means Sarah wouldn't actually get anything. John is talking to her lawyer to make sure he is reading that right. Sarah is also concerned that if she did get a large amount of money, John and I have both said we would give her whatever we got from the house if it does get sold, that it could interfere with the help she gets from the government. What? John and I both said that we would give her whatever we got from the house if it does get sold. So then why would you sell it? That doesn't make any sense. If the point of selling the house would be so you could get your $37,000, then why would you sell it and give your money to her? I'm confused. Okay, John and Sarah are both pushing me to not file a claim against the estate, but if I don't, then the loan basically goes away. Okay. Sarah said that she will pay it back to me and even sign a new loan. The trouble is that I don't believe her. She's borrowed money before and never paid it back. Not because she doesn't want to, but because she can't afford to. She struggled with money living with mom, so it is going to be even worse for her without mom paying bills in the house as well. If I don't file a claim, I will be out $37,000, and that is far more than I want to hand over as a gift, even to my sister. I've told John and Sarah that I'm officially filing a claim on Monday morning. They are both calling me a greedy asshole and telling me that I'm ignoring what mom wanted. I think it's unreasonable to expect me to just forget $37,000. By law, to clear the debt, they would need to sell the house. Oh, okay. Weird. To just sell the house and then give her the money that you sold the house for because you wanted a debt. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, you sound like an asshole. I mean, if you had 37 grand to loan to your mother, then I think you're fine. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like that's a lot of fucking money to loan out. And I assume it's 37,000 is what's left. So you loaned your mom more than that for house repairs and stuff, right? And she's been paying you back. So the grand total of what you provided her in the first place wasn't $37,000 because she's been paying you back every month. So you actually loaned her far more than that, which sounds to me like you are well off enough to just forget $37,000. Now, for any other person, absolutely, $37,000 is a year of income for a lot of people. So yeah, for someone like myself, $37,000 is a life-changing amount of money. But for someone who can just loan their mother probably closer to $50,000, I think you're good. I think you can survive, you know. I think you'll survive. I think how much you just make a deal with Sarah that whenever y'all go out to eat, she gets to pay for dinner, and then we just call it even. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like this sounds like rich people problems. You know what I mean? Okay, you're the asshole for a few reasons. You refuse to wait for your brother / the executor to talk to an attorney, which is literally happening later this week. The only thing they could have done was remortgage their house. Yeah, I guess. You state that you are quite financially stable right now and that you do not need this money right this second, but you're also unwilling to help find any workarounds for your sister and her multiple children. You're happy to make her homeless. 4. Oh, I skipped number 2. 2. Several people have made outstanding points like getting a new contractor or lien against the house. You absolutely will not hear out a single word of it, just repeatedly saying she will not pay and I'll never see the money. That's where contracts and liens come in. They are literally there to protect you. You claim that you and John were willing to give her your shares, but are you unsure if the other siblings will? But that it could also screw with the benefits she has to have to take care of her child. So you're all willing to essentially hold on to it and what? Give her as you see fit? And the other two siblings who realistically shouldn't be getting a dime, but will if you do this, have said nothing about their shares. And 5, you are willing to make your sister and her children homeless over money that you are not in dire need of right this minute. But no one in their right mind is telling you that you should walk away from $37,000 and just be fine with that. But they are telling you to take a step back and find out all the information before jumping in, and you have zero interest in doing that, or accepting the judgment you requested when it's not going your way. Yeah. All right. She has borrowed money before and never paid it back. This right here is why my policy on loaning money to family is don't loan any amount of money to family that I wouldn't be willing to shred, burn, bury, then dig up and bury again. You're not the asshole to file a claim against the estate. Your mom owed you that money, and as she was paying you back monthly, it's clearly what mom wanted. Now it's up to her estate to pay it. Just be prepared for your remaining family members to become alienated from you when you file the claim. OP replied, "You've nailed the issue. I love my sister. I know she would pay me back if she could, but she can't, and I can't just give away 37K. I trusted mom. I knew she would pay me back. I know Sarah won't." Yeah, okay. This person makes a good point. Offer your brother to sign the loan with your sister and be responsible for paying you back if she can't. Just so they can't blame you, let him out his wallet where his mouth is. All of my siblings have made it clear that they won't contribute a dime to paying back the loan. That includes John. Then they don't get a say. I would still make sure that Sarah has a contract with John co-signing so she knows you are willing to do it and pesters him. In theory, he would only pay if she can't. Either way, unfortunately, you either lose money or your siblings. Your mother unintentionally screwed you because there are no other choices for your sister, and she is actually doing her best. OP says John won't do it, and I don't blame him. I don't believe she'll pay, and neither does he. Why would he sign up to pay the loan back? Okay, this seems fair. This is the only. Okay, let's read it first. Your sister couldn't afford life before, which I absolutely hate to type, but knowing her bank account runs in the red each month tells me she's going to lose that house to unpaid taxes or bills. Your siblings are not facing reality here. By filing a claim and forcing the sale, you are just speeding up the inevitable outcome of the scenario. File your claim. If you don't, it's you who will be angry at them, and you'll still be out $37,000. At least if OP forces the sale now, then the rest of the money will stay in the family instead of just going into the pocket of a bank or debt collector, and you all could talk to a disability lawyer about setting Sarah's share up in a trust or something so she would have as minimal impact on Jeremy's SSD payments as possible. See, I don't know enough about, like, wills and shit like that. Like, I don't know anything about how money and stuff works with like the passing of someone and like house stuff and things like that. I've never bothered to learn. I was never taught, and I don't think I will ever bother to learn because I will never be able to afford a house. So the only chance I will ever have of owning a home is if my parents die and somehow leave the home that they have to me, which seems unlikely. That is the only way I will ever end up with a house. Most likely, unless I come into a very large sum of money unexpectedly. But even then, I don't think I'd spend that money on a house. So I don't know anything about how all that works. They would need to have a new house. I think they were living with mom, so they would need somewhere new. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sounds like they were already living with mom, and so when mom died, she just left the house to them, so they wouldn't have to change up their like routine and stuff. Because with severely disabled children, like Sarah's kid is, routine is very important, and changing up the location can really throw that kid off and cause problems. Cause them problems. I can't get past the irony that the original loan was in part to adapt the house for your nephew, and that now those same adaptations have put his ability to live there at risk. Yeah. I feel like selling the house would be going against mother's wishes, but maybe OP's mom never expected such selfishness from OP. I wonder if this was my mom died about 2 months ago. I wonder if this is something like, if it was sudden, so like mom was always intending to pay it all back before she died, but then something happened and she wasn't able to, or if this was truly a debt that she would never be able to return the money for. you know? There is an update. So, I officially submitted the paperwork to John to get payment for the debt. However, I decided that I would forgive 1/4 of the debt. So instead of claiming $37,000, I'm claiming $27,750. I told my siblings that I would forgive 1/4, and if keeping the house for Sarah is important to them, then they each need to come up with the same. So far, they are saying they will not contribute. John and I spoke with the lawyer, and we were wrong about how any cash from the sale of the house would be dispersed. First, any liquid assets would have to be used to cover debts. Then, if assets needed to be liquidated, then whoever was supposed to get that asset gets whatever proceeds are left after paying debts. So no matter what my siblings do, Sarah will get the rest of the money if the house is sold. The lawyer also pointed out the same thing that many people did here, that giving Sarah the money could affect her benefits. Instead, she suggested she turn down the inheritance in favor of placing the money into her special needs trust for her son. Sarah will be talking to the lawyer on her options and exactly what that means. Sarah's attempted to get a loan using the house as collateral. Not all the paperwork is in order yet. Exactly how much will be left in the estate after all debts are paid. And we are probably looking at needing to get with a professional appraisal of the home first. One person at the bank talked to her and said that with her credit score and income, she doubts she would be approved, but that she would process the application once Sarah got all the data. Okay. I wonder if we've got any newer responses. I don't know that I would go that far as saying that that OP is better than any of the siblings. And I think I'm just jaded because this person had the money to loan someone in their family over $37,000. And now is bitching and complaining because that person's died. And the person who they could now reap that money from can't afford it. Like, it feels like rich people problems, and it feels like this person probably could eat the $37,000 cost, even though it's a lot of fucking money, to literally anyone else. I feel jaded because this feels like some very wealthy person who did say in their original post that they're not really struggling financially, so they don't need this $37,000, and they likely probably make, 6 figures in a year, so... I don't know how much you can get from remortgaging your home. I think you can get a fair amount. It just pushes back their mortgage payments. I think a lot of people do it. Yeah. Yeah, this is a hard one to say. Yes, I understand. I do agree that this person chose money over family, which, like, I would also choose money over family, but that's because I don't like a lot of my family, so, and I don't have a relationship with a lot of my family, but, it sounds a little bit like these people do have a relationship with each other, so, I don't know, this is a hard one. Mostly just because I don't know a lot about what other options could be, because I don't know enough about, like, fucking houses and shit. Could be the payments mom was making cover the increased monthly mortgage costs. Maybe. I have no fucking idea, dude. I couldn't fucking tell you. That's a hard one. I don't know. I won't be giving a verdict on that one, as I don't know enough about the topic to determine if this guy's an ass or not. Okay, here's another one. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to wake me up at night when our newborn wakes up? My wife, 35, and I, 35, just had our third child 1 month ago, 4 weeks. For the first week or two, my wife had to wake him up every couple hours to feed him, but now we just let him sleep until he wakes up to eat. Here's what becomes a problem. I am a really heavy sleeper. There is nothing that can wake me up short of being attacked by a bear or shaken or something. It's been that way since before my wife and I had kids. Babies crying or screaming do not wake me up. They didn't even when we've had our first 8 months. So usually I've woken up when my wife turns on the lights for changing and stuff like that. Apparently I sleep through a lot when my wife is getting up a lot. So she is saying she does an unfair amount of work at night because of it. I feel bad because I recognize that if I'm asleep, I'm not contributing to the night stuff. So I asked my wife to wake me up when the baby wakes up. And she told me that made it so much worse and that it was like weaponized incompetence. She just doesn't want to wake me up for some reason. I'm not weaponizing my heavy sleep against her. I just want her to wake me up so I can help. But like I said, she said that it makes it worse, and now she's mad. Am I the asshole for asking to wake me up so I can help with the night stuff for our newborn? Reddit deemed this person an asshole? I wonder if they said a bunch of asshole things in the comments, because that sometimes happens. Sometimes the original post is like, I don't know why this person has been labeled an asshole, you know? And then they do a bunch of bullshit in the comments, and you're like, oh, I see now. This person is an asshole. Because this, I mean, like, I don't know that I could sleep through a baby crying, but you can't really control how heavy of a sleeper you are. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something you can control. So, short of staying awake, you know what I mean? I wonder if this person said other nonsense in the, Ooh, we had a long fill today. It is a half hour long. Nice. Oh, there's a good idea. Look up vibrating baby monitors for deaf parents. Wear the bracelet. This is a solution right here, OP. It doesn't sound like you've tried very hard to find an alternate solution to making your wife do all the work. Well, I didn't think of this. I didn't even know this was a thing. I just never thought about it. So it's perfectly understandable that this guy wouldn't have either. The obvious solution in his mind was, oh, well, you wake up to the baby, just, like, knock me out of the bed, and I'll wake up and go take care of it, you know what I mean? Then we don't have to go out and buy shit, you know what I mean? I googled baby monitor for heavy sleeper, and the tops would just bring up these kinds of baby alarms. Yes, it's a niche product, but a quick internet search will find solutions. Yes, mom will probably still wake up due to crying or vibrations, but at least it's not her job to also get him up. I disagree with you. I had no idea such a thing existed. Chances are OP didn't either, and you'd be surprised how many people suck at Googling. Yeah, I had no idea that was even a thing. Yeah, it is baby number 3. That's wild. Yeah, this too. If the baby is screaming and she's waking up regardless, it's not like if he wasn't a heavy sleeper that she wouldn't still wake up. See, yeah, this. I I usually just get up since I'm already awake, but if my son wakes up a second time in the night, I simply gently kick my husband until he wakes up, and then I roll over and go back to sleep. Uh, but also, if you've got so many kids under the age of 1, like, you have to be good at falling back asleep after waking up if you ever want to get any rest. So I think the first person had the best response of giving a solution. Max is off work. I don't think this guy's an asshole. Maybe I'm just biased. Your solution is just more work for her. It's not really, though. It's not really, though. Like, it's not that, like, you know, like, she could just buy a taser and then tase him awake in the morning, you know? Then she doesn't really have to move all that much. She just rolls to one side, grabs the taser, rolls to the other side, sticks it in his side, and then he's awake. Voila. Like, there are easy ways for her to wake him up, you know what I mean? Because, like, other people have said, she's gonna be awake anyways, because there's a screaming baby, you know? Like, okay, I don't know what has happened. I don't know if the thickness of my ceiling has changed in the past couple days, but I've been able to hear my upstairs neighbors moving around every fucking night. And it's so annoying because I didn't used to have any noises from other apartments. But last night I was able to hear them walking back and forth, and I heard their dog running back and forth across the apartment. That's not happened before until just now. I don't understand what has occurred, why my ceiling is suddenly so fucking thin. I wonder if maybe they just don't know that there's someone below them. Yeah, weaponized incompetence is not the correct term here. Where they moved in, to my knowledge, they were. Though we did just have someone change out. I only know because of the cars. Why do people take terms of war with them beyond meaning? Weaponized incompetence is pretending you don't know how to do something or doing it incorrectly so the other person will have to do it themselves instead of fix your mistake. Being a heavy sleeper isn't weaponized incompetence. It's being a heavy sleeper. Yeah, I think weaponized incompetence was absolutely not the correct term because it's not. Weaponized incompetence is a choice, whereas being a heavy sleeper is not a choice. So I don't know that I would declare this guy an asshole. I would declare him an idiot, but I mean that's true for most guys, especially most guys who post to Reddit. I think the first solution is the best solution. I'm not going to declare this guy an asshole because I don't think he's trying to be a dick. it doesn't seem that way anyways. It seems like he does genuinely want to help his wife. He just doesn't know how to go about doing it. And this person offered a great solution that I agree with, that OP should try and see if it works. Not the asshole. That's my declaration for that guy. Oh yeah, this one's wild. I watched Smosh does the weekly Reddit thing, and I watched it the other day, and this one was on it. It was wild. It's so funny though, because I'll be listening to those Reddit videos, and then they'll start reading one, and I'm like, I know this story. Why do I know this story? And then I'm like, oh wait, I read this story on stream. Fuck, my ankle hurts. Fuck. It's gonna be a long week on top, just simply because of the ankle thing. Okay. All right. Next post. Am I the asshole for giving future mother-in-law 3 days to pay me for a new wedding dress, or else I show the family a photo of her wearing it? Juicy. So I'm getting married to my fiance soon. I bought my wedding dress weeks ago. His mom kept pestering me about trying it on, but I firmly refused. I finally shut it down after she offered me $100 to let her try it on. Her reasoning for persisting so much, she says it's because of her love for wedding dresses with her and her obsession with them. Okay, that's fucking weird. Fast forward to yesterday, I came home from work early and I found my fiance at home. He freaked out after seeing me and tried to prevent me from going into my room while trying to text somebody on his phone. I opened the door and was shocked to see his mom standing there wearing my dress. I instantly pulled out my phone and took a photo of her in it. She and my fiance freaked out after I told her that she needed to pay me for a new dress in 3 days or else I'll show the whole family the photo. She started crying and then left, and my fiance blew up at me saying I can't be serious and that I overreacted because his mom just wanted to try the dress on. No harm done. That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. Why? That's fucking weird. That's so fucking weird. You know what I think needs to happen?
Divorce.
No marriage. We're calling the marriage off. This is unacceptable behavior. Do not marry this man. What the fuck? Huh? That I overreacted because his mom just wanted to try on the dress that his wife is about to wear to walk down the aisle. The fuck? I refuse to listen to him because, in my opinion, the dress should only be worn by the bride and the bride only. Yeah. Quite frankly, yeah. I felt disgusted looking at the dress again. I don't want it anymore, and so I think it's fair that she pays me after she ruined it for me. He yelled at me and told me to wake up and stop treating his mom like that, as if she was an enemy. We had a fight after he failed to get me back down, and he's been staying with his mom ever since. I feel awful, but I spent $3,000 on this dress and worked hard to get it. I can't stand looking at it, but people in my family think I'm escalating things and risking my relationship with not only future mother-in-law, but my fiance as well. Oh, well, sounds too bad. Sounds like you need to marry somebody else. I'm sorry, lady. Sorry to tell you. But, this is unacceptable behavior. Sorry, I wanted to pull this up before I forgot about it. Okay. I meant to click the notification so it would open it and leave it open on my phone, but I accidentally swiped it away. Okay. All right, we're going to read the update first and then read the comments. Update. Oh my god, this blew up. And so I thought I'd add some updates. My fiance called and offered to pay for the dress himself so we can end the conflict, but he wants me to hand him my phone so he can delete the photo himself, swear that I don't have any copies to use against his mom later, apologize to his mom, and lastly, he asked that if I quit his family group chat, I'll log out of Facebook for at least a month. I haven't responded yet. P.S. He called with this offer and conditions hours ago, but I didn't want to include this in the post, but now I did. Also, I'm not sure if I'll agree because I don't want him to pay for it. I want his mom, the one who wore it, to pay for it. Not being vicious, but trying to hold her accountable. Ma'am.
Divorce.
That's all I have to say. Not the asshole, but are you sure you want to marry this guy? He stood his guard outside your bedroom so that his mother could try on your wedding dress. Do you think that he will ever stand up for you against her? Also, I think all the incest suggestions are way off base. He's just an asshole who can't say no to his mother and is prepared to deceive OP if it will shut his mother up. His mother, O-T-O-H, don't know, is controlling, manipulative, and deceitful, and will probably be an absolutely horrible mother-in-law should OP choose to go through with this marriage. Emotional incest is a very distinct possibility, yes. Send the photo to everyone invited with an announcement that regretfully you will no longer be participating in the wedding, but you wish the couple the best. Vicious, yes. Not the asshole, but he probably isn't your FML. It's your fiance. It isn't your future mother-in-law, it's your fiance. He let her in. He was going to lie and hide from you that she tried it on. He is defending her actions. He disrespected your belongings, and he didn't care about your feelings and still doesn't. He has shown that he doesn't care about your boundaries, and he decided his mother wanting to try it on was more important than your feelings, and that won't go away when you're married. Personally, my petty self would call off the engagement, and the announcement of that would be the picture of his mom in the wedding dress stating, "Unfortunately, I cannot marry blank." It appears he's already married and emotionally committed to his mother. At the bare minimum, you should postpone until he can respect your boundaries. Yeah, absolutely. He knowingly went behind your back to help his mom try on your dress. He knew it was wrong, he knew you would be upset, and yet he did it anyway. Then he doubled down and defended his mother when you caught them. You don't have a mother-in-law problem, you have a husband problem. Do not marry this man without addressing and resolving this issue. It will literally only get worse from here. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it seems everyone agrees that the answer is...
Divorce.
That is the final verdict on this one. Do not marry this man. We got more juice. Juicy, juicy, juicy. My eyes feel so weird. I don't know if it's just because I'm tired or if it's like a combo of the light of the monitor with the light of this. I don't know what's going on. Trying to sit comfortably is not easy in this desk chair, I gotta say. Okay. Next one. Am I the asshole for calling my coworker a nosy bitch after she kept insisting to know my husband's salary? My husband and I, both 33, have been together since college. Over the years, he's had quite a career trajectory. He's a quant PM and makes like 10 times what I make, and I make a good salary. As we've grown wealthier, I've learned that people become nosier. Friends, acquaintances, relatives, you name it. In the beginning, I would entertain the nosy questions, but since I turned 30, I've adopted a take-no-shit attitude. When people ask me how much he makes, I no longer say anything. I've learned the hard way that giving an exact number can have bad consequences. My coworker 25 is new, and she already has quite the reputation. Very chatty, catty, gossipy, you get the gist. You can just tell that she craves wealth and status. She wears a bunch of flashy designer items and is always asking the ladies around the office which of the men are single. Last Friday, our office hosted an afternoon happy hour. She approached me and asked me and my husband... Sorry, I can't read. She approached me and asked how me and my husband's recent vacation to Europe went. I told her it went well and briefly summarized what we did. Then the conversation went something like this. Gold digger, yes. So what does your husband do? He works in finance. Oh wow, he must make a ton then to be taking you on all these lavish vacations. I hope you don't mind me asking about how much does he make in a year. Yes, we're very lucky he makes a good salary. Polite smile. Oh come on, I won't tell anyone. How much does he rake in a year? Millions? Awkward chuckle. I'd rather not say, but it's up there. What? He doesn't allow you to give the exact number or something? No, I just prefer not to say. You think the stuck-up one would be the one with the money, not the one without. You should learn how to take no for an answer and when to quit being a nosy bitch. It's a valuable lesson. Then I smiled at her and walked away. Later on, I had a few coworkers reach out to me and say that she was crying and left early and that I should apologize for calling her a rude name. I refused. I told my mom and she said I was too rude to the new girl and that she's young and might not fully understand salary talk. I think she's old enough. Husband is fully on my side and said maybe I should fake apologize for the sake of office politics, which I somewhat agree with, but still, am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. She was being a nosy bitch and you called her a nosy bitch. I feel like if you can't handle the response, then don't ask the question. I feel like if you can't handle being called a nosy bitch, then don't be a nosy bitch. You know? Not the asshole reporter to HR. She kind of low-key tried to get to know his salary so she can hang out with him and be his girlfriend. Yeah. That's funny, though. Definitely not the asshole, obviously. I'm all for calling people out on their BS, so... I'm sorry, what? Am I the asshole? I took $2,000 to get off the plane and came home late. Delta gave me $2,000 to skip my flight. This is $2,000 that could be spent anywhere. The flight looked like it was going to get canceled anyway. It did. So now I have $2,000 in a hotel stay, but my fiance is mad at me because I chose the money over coming home. But it looked like the flight was going to be canceled, not to mention I called once and texted once to ask her opinion, and she didn't answer either, so I had to make the decision by myself. She claims because she's been in a semi-depressed state the last few days. That's crazy of me to ever make that decision. She's not communicated to me well enough to know how bad she really is right now. Last night when we spoke, and she seemed better. But it was $2,000. Yeah, I'ma skip my flight too. The fuck? I'm sorry. How do I get this offer? How do I get Delta offer me $2,000 to not fly home? The fuck? Especially since the flight got canceled anyways. Yeah, you said the flight got canceled anyways. Not the asshole unless you missed something important, take the money. Yeah. OP states that the flight ended up getting canceled anyways, so had he not taken the money, he'd still be missing his flight, staying in a hotel, and not have $2,000. Yeah. You know what would make me feel better? My husband telling me he just earned $2,000 in 24 hours. That's what I'm saying. My husband would get an earful if he didn't take the $2,000 and stay till the next day. Easy 2K, and he gets the rest of the day in a free hotel room. Win-win. Yeah. I was thinking maybe he'd miss her sister's wedding or something, but just a random day. If she can't function without him for an extra day, guess what? 2K will buy you at least 10 sessions of therapy. Yeah. The fuck? Nah. I'm taking the $2,000. The fuck? I'm sorry, I want to hear about the pre-gaming. Am I the asshole for pre-gaming my wife's dinners? My wife and I are both 32. Since we got married and moved in together 5 months ago, my wife has simply not made nearly enough food for me. This is not a kind of situation where I'm constantly agitated at her for incompetence or anything like that. I would be more than happy to microwave a burrito. I would be more than happy to whip up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But I can't. My wife has, every single night of our marriage, done the same thing. She'll make me a tiny dinner. I'm talking like a Chinese chicken salad with 30 grams of chicken and 10 leaves of lettuce arranged fashionably with dressing. When I finish eating, I'm still hungry because for a 230-pound man who works a physical labor job, it's not enough food. At first, I tried openly communicating with her, but she always took it horribly. She would adopt a 1,000-yard stare and then begin talking about how incompetent she is and how she can't even make her husband a proper dinner. I try to calm her down with, oh honey, that's not the case, I just eat too much. Or don't worry about it, I can just make a bit more. Send her ass to therapy. What the fuck? Like, oh my god. See, this is one of the many reasons that I choose to stay single. I don't want to deal with this shit. The way I would instantly be like, okay, then fucking leave. I will just the fucking leave. Like, this is not appropriate behavior, okay? This is not appropriate behavior, okay? This is... I hate people like this. They're so fucking annoying. People who especially because it's like mild gaslighting. Like, he gives a pretty basic statement of, hey, could you make more food next time? This doesn't fill me up. And her response is, oh, I can't cook right for my husband. No, he just told you how to fix the problem. Shut the fuck up. Like, oh my god. I try to be overwhelmingly positive, but it never helped. She would always just get incredibly disappointed in herself, cry, and or take it out on me. This bitch needs to go to therapy, alright? Therapy for like 4 days a week. Then she would make the exact same amount of food the following day. After the communication route failed, I tried to eat her dinner as is. It became hard to sleep at night due to hunger, and I lost 7 pounds in the first month. Eventually, I figured out my own system. On my way home from work, I started swinging by a fast food restaurant and getting myself a burger. I would basically pregame her meals with some more calories. I figured it was a win-win, as what she doesn't know can't hurt her, and I get my fill of food. I would eat on my way home, walk in the door, pick at the salad or quinoa or homemade mac and cheese she made, compliment her for her delicious cooking, and later dispose of the wrappers discreetly. The fact that you have to do that is unacceptable behavior. Like, that's not okay. 2 days ago, I was on my way home and in line at a drive-thru, and my mother-in-law was coming out of the restaurant. She ran over and greeted me. I asked her in a humorous way not to tell her daughter where she saw me because she'd take it badly, and she agreed, but then she narked at me anyway. I got home to a furious wife who demanded details. When I provided the truth, she got extremely angry and looked legitimately hurt. I'm not good at handling confrontation, and I feel like I betrayed my wife in some way. Was I wrong here? No, your wife is a fucking dumbass who needs to go to therapy and get her shit together, okay? The fuck? Liberally seasons our commenters with Lexapro and therapy. It's a little concerning that she goes full passive-aggressive when you say something to her. It sounds like she has a really hard time when her carefully crafted mental image of herself is even slightly challenged. Not the asshole. Yeah. OP, if you didn't need to drop 7 pounds in 1 month, and wow, that's a lot of weight pretty fast, I think the recommended weight loss is a pound a week, then not the asshole. Your wife is willfully underfeeding you. She is feeding you like a weight-conscious, sedentary, middle-aged woman, not an active man. She needs to get over her defensive 1,000-yard stare or the whining that she can't make her husband a proper dinner, and you need to stop reassuring her because she isn't making her husband a proper dinner. Is she this uncommunicative and unwilling to change, and you so placating... I can't read. Hold on, let me try that sentence again. Is she this uncommunicative and unwilling to change, and you so placating in the other situations? In other situations? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought I was saying, but my brain couldn't finish the sentence. Okay. And OP, a steady diet of fast food isn't good for you. You need to start prepping your own meals, whether your wife likes it or not. She needs to get the fuck over whatever this is, because your solution, while clever for short term, isn't viable in the long term. And I would be pretty unhappy with the mother-in-law. She could have minded her own business, and this dysfunctional little compromise dynamic could have proceeded indefinitely without drama. Good luck, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. This is just ridiculous. No. See, when Max and I first started, like, hanging out and dating and whatnot, Max was the type of person to say, I'm sorry for everything, even if there was nothing to say I'm sorry for. And that shit was super fucking annoying. So I essentially bullied Max out of talking like that because doing that, saying I'm sorry all the time for everything, is a self-conscious thing to do. Like, you're doing it because you are not confident in yourself and you feel like you have to apologize for existing. And that is not an okay way to live. You shouldn't have to apologize for breathing. You know what I mean? And so I essentially, I like to say I bullied Max out of it, because every time Max would do it, I would make a big deal out of it until Max eventually got, like, Max's brain eventually understood that the more they did it out loud, the more they would get berated for it. And it worked. Max doesn't do that anymore. At least not to nearly the degree that they used to. And overall, Max has just become a more confident person outside of my, assistance in that specific thing. But it was super annoying for me to have to listen to Max constantly apologize for shit that doesn't need to be apologized for. And so I did something about it, because it was fucking annoying and dumb. And now it is not happening anymore, which is very nice, and is better for Max and better for everyone else. Because I'm not the only person who gets annoyed by shit like that. Because when someone says, I'm sorry, you feel like you have to say, it's okay, when their sorriness is the part that's not okay. Like, what they're apologizing for half the time isn't even something to be sorry about. More than half the time, honestly. Like, 80% of the time, it's not even something to apologize for, It's like you bumping into somebody else and them saying sorry. It's like, no, I ran into you. The fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you stepping on someone's toe and them apologizing to you. Like, it's dumb. So I did something about it, and the problem is solved. It sounds like this person has a similar issue, unless they're using it as, like, a weapon, unless they're using their apology as a weapon, which is definitely a possibility, but this just certainly seems like someone who needs therapy. So they certainly seem more confident now. Yes, they are a lot more confident now. But also, when we first met and started dating and all that, like, neither of us were the people we are now. Neither of us were out as, like, non-binary or trans. Like, neither of us, like, really had found ourselves yet. So there was a lot of growing that happened in general. But I like to credit myself for Max not saying I'm sorry for everything anymore, because I feel like I did a lot of the work there. Like, every time Max would say I'm sorry, I would make them explain why they were sorry. And eventually we would get to the point where they were explaining it and they were like, yeah, no, that's stupid. I shouldn't have said that. So it was more of like what are you sorry for? Like, a talking through it each time. I like to say bullying, because I think it sounds funnier, even though that's not really an accurate description of what it was. It wasn't like I'd yell at them whenever they'd say I'm sorry. It was more of like yeah, really, what are you sorry for? And then they wouldn't know. And I'm like, exactly, so why are you saying I'm sorry? And then they'd say I'm sorry again. And I'd be like, bitch, the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah, very cheap therapy for me. But this person sounds like they need real therapy, like real big boy therapy. So not the asshole. Honestly, I find the what's to stop you from cooking comments so off the mark. Would you say that if a man was controlling a woman's diet and guilting her for stopping for fast food or making a sandwich, clearly OP and his wife have a setup where he does a physical job and she mostly cooks. Nothing wrong with that. She is controlling his food intake and refusing to adapt to his dietary needs. She applies avoidance tactics when reasonably confronted, and she is likely not eating enough herself for dinner based on the description of a typical meal. All signs point to an eating disorder. OP, get your wife some help, please. Yeah. I don't know about the eating disorder thing, but that's definitely a possibility. But regardless, this person needs to go to therapy. Like, regardless of the eating disorder or not, wife needs to go to therapy. I'm not the asshole. All right, a couple more, and then we'll call it. All right, am I the asshole for telling my son he can't stay with me when I found out why his wife had kicked him out? Juicy. All right. My daughter-in-law is pregnant with my first grandchild. She is suffering from placenta previa. She is on bed rest. It would be dangerous for her to have sex, so my asshole son decided that he should cheat. I'm sorry. First of all, I want to know what this is, because I've never heard of this before. And I probably said it wrong, but I would like to know what it is. When the placenta covers the opening in the mother's cervix. Interesting. The main risk factor include the main symptom is vaginal bleeding without pain during the second half of pregnancy. The condition can also cause severe bleeding before or during delivery. Bed rest is recommended. Cesarean section is often needed. Interesting. It says it's rare. Fewer than 200,000 U.S. cases per year. So basically the placenta grows in such a way that it essentially blocks the birthing canal, which could cause a variety of issues. Not just during birth, but leading up to it. Interesting. No, not the asshole. I don't even need to read the rest of this. I will, but it's previa. I don't know how I said it, but it's placenta previa. Interesting. Bleeding may also be triggered by sex or during a medical exam. For some, bleeding may not occur until labor. Often there is no clear event that leads to bleeding. But sex can be a trigger for it, is a common known trigger for the bleeding that can occur. Bleeding may occur with pre-labor contractions of the uterus that cause pain. Interesting. Yeah. Severe bleeding may prompt emergency C-section before your baby is full term. Interesting. Well, the more you know. Look at us starting things today. All right. She found out and kicked him out of the house. He came to stay with us because she was having crazy pregnancy hormones. Every time he called her, they would fight. After a couple of days, we told him to go see if she calmed down. Her mom is staying with them, so we weren't worried about her. My wife called to check in on her and found out the truth. I was very upset. When he got home from work, I told him he needed to get out of my house. He wasn't someone I wanted to associate with at the moment, and it would be best if he wasn't near me. My wife tried to say I was being too hard on him and that I should just give him the chance to work things out. I can't even look at him. I don't want such a stupid boy in my house. My wife and I are still fighting about it, but I am willing to die on this hill. Yeah, I would be too. No son of mine. Get the fuck out of my house. Especially since he's probably grown. Like, kicking your kid out of your house when they are actually a kid is not okay in pretty much any situation, but this sounds like a full-grown ass man who cheated on his wife and now doesn't have a place to stay because of it. And no, you ain't staying with me. You're cheating ass and go stay with your fucking, other woman. Go stay with her, all right? No, you ain't staying here. Not the asshole. Pretty easy one there. Not the asshole, never the asshole for such integrity. Your son most definitely is, and I suspect his enabling mommy is as well. Kudos to you for doing the right thing. Yeah. Definitely not the asshole. You have respect for your daughter-in-law and strong morals of knowing right from wrong. Looks like your son never inherited them. He said, I wish I'd done a better job instilling them. Yeah, definitely not the asshole. Wow. Juicy. All right. This might end up being the last one. Okay. Am I the asshole for making my daughter miss once-in-a-lifetime events like homecoming and senior prom and delete all of her social media as punishment for bullying? Yesterday, I was informed that my daughter, Sam, was a part of a group of students who bullied another girl to the point that she had to switch schools. There was a racial aspect to the bullying, which came as a complete shock since my wife and I truly did our best to raise our 3 kids to be kind and honest individuals. I don't believe that a grounding and a confiscation of electronics is harsh enough for what Sam did, so I told Sam that she wouldn't be allowed to participate in homecoming or attend senior prom. I also told her that she won't be getting a car for her 18th birthday either. Finally, I told her that she'll have to delete all of her social media accounts with either me or her mother watching. Sam begged me to allow her to go to senior prom because it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and keep just her Instagram account because it had pictures going back years that weren't saved anywhere else. I told her that she shouldn't have been a racist bully. My parents are temporarily staying with us while their house is undergoing renovations. They agreed that what Sam did was completely out of line and must be punished, but they think that making my daughter miss homecoming and senior prom and forcing her to delete her social media is far, far too harsh. Not the asshole. You're correct. Racist bullying of all things, especially bullying in general, but racist bullying, the fuck, should be allowed to save the photos, but still valid. Yes, I agree with that. But yeah, you made that kid who had to switch schools miss out on once in a lifetime events because now they are at a school where they don't know anybody. So, fuck you, not the asshole. This seems like the appropriate level of offense here, especially the deletion of social media accounts. That said, there is a chance to teach the idea of repentance and redemption, assuming that you are in the US or Canada. I don't think homecoming is a thing elsewhere, so I feel good about that assumption. The school year is just about to start, and prom isn't until late April, early May. Create a plan of restoration actions so she can take to earn back prom. These actions can include volunteer services, befriending someone who is an outcast at her school, cultural sensitivity classes, and if possible, something that can positively impact the girl she bullied. Also, giving her something to earn back like that lets her have a positive focus for the year. What she did was very wrong and needs to have consequences, but it can be an important learning opportunity as well. Good luck. Some great conversations here. I crossed out the idea of befriending an outcast, and I agreed that the pic should probably be saved, but maybe not ones with other friends involved. I can also very easily detect those who have zero parenting experience and those who will probably end up in LC or NC with their children someday because they have low contact or no contact with their children someday because they have no feel for the idea of repentance and redemption. It's a balance, people. Raising a teen means that there have to be serious consequences for serious actions, but also teaching them how to behave in the right way, and that requires a path for earning back what they have lost. Yes, I agree. Yeah, not the asshole. Okay, I changed my mind. 2 more. Rarely do I read 2 titles in a row that intrigue me, unless this one is just stupid long. Am I the asshole for ditching my girlfriend at a 5K because I wanted a better time? My girlfriend, 31 female, and I, 36 male, have been together for about 2 years now. We live together. About 9 months ago, I picked up running as a hobby, and I have since grown quite fond of it. I currently run an average of 25 miles a week. A few months ago, I decided I wanted to try a 5K or 10K, and after some Google searching, I found a 5K in my city that looked fun. I registered for it, paid the fee, and decided to start training specifically for it. I mentioned it in passing to my girlfriend that night, and she asked if she could come too. I was psyched about the idea of running a 5K with her and said yes, but warned her that she would probably want to start training because I was going for a sub 27-minute time, which might be tough for a complete beginner. She said she would like to train with me, which again sounded fun. The next morning I woke up at 5 a.m. for my run as I usually do, but my girlfriend was not up, and I told her and she told me she'd go later. This continued for a week, then 2 weeks, and finally I managed to get her up once for a run. She was miserable the entire time, and I basically didn't get any exercise. Sounds like me, trying to run. Last Friday, the day before the race, I asked if she was really up for it. She insisted she was. She then told me that she would just skip gallop it like she used to do with her mile runs in middle school. I asked her to demonstrate what a skip gallop was, and she showed me this bizarre sidestepping gallop as if She had casts on her legs. I told her it seemed like a really insufficient way to run, but she insisted it always worked for her. That is so embarrassing. Saturday was the day of the race, and right out of the gate, she utilized her skip gallop strategy. 2 minutes in, and I realized that she was already completely gassed. Yeah, skip galloping isn't any less exhausting than running. The fuck? 2 minutes and I realized she was already completely gassed. She started asking me to wait so we could walk together. I apologized and told her I loved her and left her behind to finish the race. I ended up with a time of 26:43, beating my goal. Nice. After the race, I tried calling her, but she wouldn't pick up. When I made my way back to the car, I realized she had left me. I took an Uber home, and right when I walked to the door, I was met with a cry shriek about how I ditched her. I tried to calm her down and explain that she kind of brought it on herself, but she was not interested whatsoever. Yesterday, she gave me the silent treatment all day. Do I deserve what I'm getting here? No, you're not the asshole. That is really funny, though. Not the asshole. She chose to invite herself. She chose to not prepare, and she chose to make a fool of herself with a crazy method of running. It is all on your girlfriend, and I'm glad you had your phone and her wallet and were able to get home after she abandoned you. Yeah. Her technique is kind of funny. In sport, occasionally people do develop new techniques, and sometimes they are a huge change. Yeah, the Fosbury flop. But the girlfriend decided that this was her time to test out an unusual running technique. Yeah, running has got to be one of the single most solved athletic motions around, honestly. She asked to come, refused to train, knew you had a goal in mind, and still made it about herself. Yeah. That's funny, though. Imagining her skip galloping next to him running sounds really funny. All right. Last one. Am I the asshole for wearing a bikini even though my sister just had a baby? No, I don't understand how these two things are related to each other. Is her sister jealous or something? Probably. I, 26 female, am on a family vacation. Parents, sister Rachel, 30, her son, 1, her husband, Adam, 31, and my husband and our daughter, 2. Okay, your sister didn't just have a baby. She had a baby over a year ago because her son is a year old. But still. We are by the sea, and yesterday was the first time we'd been going to a beach club. My sister asked me not to wear a bikini or anything revealing because she said both she and Adam are not feeling the best about her postpartum body, and she really doesn't want to bring the topic up. I said I was sorry she feels that way, but I wasn't going to spend a day roasting under an umbrella, unable to swim or enjoy myself. I said tons of women would be in bikinis, so I didn't see why I made a difference. We went to the beach, and Rachel was a wreck all day and refused to come with us to the beach today. My parents are now saying that I'm an asshole for not just wearing a cover-up, and that you can still swim in, and that if I keep wearing swimwear, it's going to ruin the trip. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole? Adam and the body thing. Yes, you read right. Rachel didn't elaborate, but I presume Adam has made some kind of comments because several times during and after Rachel's pregnancy, he asked me about my postpartum diet / workout regimen. I was vague about it, but did end up telling him that I'd had surgery and various non-invasive treatments, and that diet exercise was not the deciding factor. He stopped asking. Yikes. No, definitely not the asshole. Sounds like her husband might be an asshole, though. Rachel's, the sister's husband, not OP's. Not the asshole. I'm sorry. Her husband is not feeling the best around her postpartum body. Your bikini is not the cause of her being a wreck. Her own insecurity, which her husband is likely contributing to, is. This is a garbage situation, but you are not responsible for it. Fully agree. Why is it always the husband? Why is the husband always the problem? I know always is not an overstatement. The spouse is always the problem, but more often than not, it's a husband that's the problem. That's funny. Both she and Adam are not feeling the best about her postpartum body. Well, he can fucking fuck right the fuck off. Her husband doesn't feel good about her postpartum body. I think I found the root of her insecurities. Yeah. I'm so happy that the entirety of the comments picked up on that. Not the asshole. Also, why is Adam not feeling good about his wife's postpartum body? Maybe he should gestate the next one and see if it works out better for his aesthetic needs while his wife critiques how he looks. Maybe, but I feel like Reddit is the place for a bunch of lonely incels, and incels tend to be men. I think the solution is to leave Adam in the room so that your sister can enjoy the beach with your family without having her husband judge her or put her down for her postpartum baby body. You're not the asshole for wearing a bikini. Exactly. The men are probably more focused on other subreddits, potentially. Do my eyes look like they're blurry and like droopy? Because they feel like they're blurry and drooping. You didn't know this subreddit existed before I brought it up? Interesting. At least nobody will lose Adam at the beach with him waving that giant red flag, not the asshole. Lol. Not the asshole, but your sister needs an urgent Adamectomy as soon as possible. Alrighty, I think that'll do it for this week. Oh, but this one's so juicy. This one's actually short. Hold on. This one's really short, actually. I want to read this one first. Yeah. I know. I've been resting my foot all week. That's what I do when I'm not at work. Is I sit and I lay down. But it hasn't fixed the problem, and I don't know why. But I also can't go to the doctor for it because America. I can't afford to go to the doctor, so looks like another week of limping around my workplace. So let's read this last one. I changed my mind. This one sounds really juicy. And this, I promise this is the last one. I promise. Okay, I promise. Am I the asshole for telling my wife that my mother will never love her and to stop trying? I have been married to my wife for 2 years, and the best way to describe my mother is cold. She's not rude or anything. She's just disinterested in my wife. The best way I can explain my mom is that she is tired. She had a really hard life, doesn't have much affection left to give, and she rarely gets close to anyone. It's pure disinterest, and she can't bring herself to care about new people. She's a retired old lady and just wants to sit on the porch and not make small talk with people. I've explained this to my wife before and told my mother's story. We had a little get-together at my mom's house. My mom doesn't like it when people bring food. She works all day to make a spread, and it's like her thing. She just wants to provide for the guests. My wife came in from work, and she had brought food and potato salad. I stopped her from bringing it in. The whole night, she was just bothering her when she was on the porch, asking her if she wanted to go on a shopping trip. When my mom asked for some quiet, she still talks on. When I was walking by, she asked me to take my wife away from her. This made my wife upset, but I did it since I could see mom was getting close to the end of her rope. We had a talk in the car about what that was all about, and she just wants to be loved by her mother-in-law. She is being so nice, she doesn't get why she doesn't like her. I told her my mom will never love her, and to just stop. What she is doing is actively making her dislike you, and to leave the woman alone. She called me a jerk and hasn't spoken to me since. Edit was told to include this comment from an info comment. Almost never, most of the time, if people join her on the porch, it's very little small talk, or just join her watching the garden. She doesn't care how loud they are in the house or anything like that. She likes watching others have a good time, more of an observer than anything. She asked for quiet with my wife since she was just going on for a while. My sister was out there and told me mom tried politer ways to ask for her to be quiet, and it didn't work. Also, the direct request didn't work with my wife, and she just kept going. That's really funny. No, definitely not the asshole. That's actually kind of hilarious. She's a retired old lady that just wants to sit on the porch and not make small talk with people. Honestly, your mom sounds like my life goals. Not the asshole. It sucks for your wife, but let people be. Not everyone will be liked by everyone, and your wife should just be old and mature enough to understand that. Yeah, I agree. Damn, instead of just saying, hey babe, don't try so hard. Let her warm up to you. You just went full on, abandon all hope, ye who enter into my family. Yeah, but it's better for him to do that than to give her false hope, like the next comment says. Alrighty. That is all. I will see you all on Monday. Hope your all's weekend goes well. Bye-bye.